harder because when you go to correct them, you're essentially sending again without the cue.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, if you find like the sends a problem, I would prioritize that 2 to 3 minutes a day, a couple of times. You know, you can even use food. I'm not opposed to it. It does help. It's just in the beginning when people are learning everything, it's too much stuff.
Yeah.
So I just isolate and like, well, I know this will work. You know, just practice. But if you're at a point where you feel pretty comfortable with how the remote works and everything, super simple. Place, right? Remote, he goes, feed.
Yeah.
You don't have to use it for him. I just use it as the end result of like, great, you went there, here you go.
Yeah.
So if you want to like create more, like to incentivize him a bit more, perfectly fine.
Incentivizing and also just reprimanding, so using the caliber to reinforce that he's not supposed to do that to great.
Correct. Yeah, to balance both things. Personally, when I use food, I don't use training treats. I use like chicken, hot dog, pepperoni, cheese sticks, nice muff. I'll change whatever I use.
Right.
Just because I think it's stupid that treats are more expensive. Have you ever eaten dog treats?
No.
It tastes like crap. Okay. They don't like. They smell like bacon, but it tastes nothing like bacon. But dogs are driven by their nose. They don't have a very strong taste like humans do. But I'm like, why am I paying more money for something I can get for cheaper that I could eat too, whatever? And
Like I can stack out some pepperoni sometimes.
yeah, you know, like dogs are more incentivized by it, so I have no problem using those things.
Okay.
But yeah, so feel free to do that stuff. You know, for anything that you might be struggling with, it's perfectly fine. Especially at this point, you have a pretty good concept of how remote collar works. Now you're just adding in like when he does it, good job, here's some food. Okay?
Yep.
So who wants to show me the downs and what they're looking like right now?
Keep going, taking the rein here. Come on.
Whatever it normally is when you work with them.
Do a little walk. Down.
It's a puddle right there.
Yeah.
Boy.
I like Maddie's types of downs.
Break.
When Tango kept melting.
Yeah.
Down.
And you said you have problems with the duration aspect of it? Because that's a pretty smooth down.
Yeah, I don't have
To
any
me, it was like
problems
more
with
of
it.
making him stay once he is down.
Okay. And like, when did you start to seem to have trouble?
Like I tried to I was at the dog park.
Okay.
Before I let him in, I
Sure.
told him to down.
Oh, sure.
And then I opened the door and he just ran right out there.
Gotcha. So
He's
you're
usually
playing
like
distraction.
with stay, he's like he'll stay when I open that door. But for
Yeah.
down, he's like right off.
When?
And
Okay.
I tried it afterward when we were walking down the street. I'm like, he's down. Tried going around him. He also got up.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's keep them in the down. Let's go to swap handlers.
He is supposed to stick right there, right? So I
Yeah.
think him.
Yeah. So once you give him that cue or that command is in effect until the next, cue is given or you release him. Which is why I like doing stuff like this, because dogs typically think like a new handler, and they'll just get up and like walk away.
Gilmore, break. Gilmore, down. Gilmore, break. Should I be like right next to him when I break him like that? Or?
You're still within you're within leash distance.
Okay.
So if you're good with it, I'm fine with that too. It's really how strict you want to be with how close you are when you're releasing, which is stationary commands. Right. There you go. Now relax the leash a little bit. There you go. Good.
Okay, we're down. Break. Come on, break.
So you tried downing them at the dog park when you were opening the gate,
Yeah.
and then the other time when you had them down at the dog park, you kind of walk around them.
How about do that too, where I'm walking on the sidewalk,
Sure.
put them down, and then do the same thing and walk them.
Okay.
Basically, just have like water park.
Sure. You know, so there's this thing called drive. I don't know if with dogs, like prey drive, ball drive. Sure. So if he walks out amped up, it's good to learn how to shut him down in the sense of like, you know, getting him back to passiveness so that, because if he's still in drive and you try to do obedience stuff, like his body's going go, 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 go. And it's now you're trying to shut him down, like, nope, now we're off and you need to do this. So it's really just practicing that and expecting the distractions, or I'm sorry, the mistakes are going to happen. One thing I like to do, and actually, if he's got good ball drive, the next time I see you guys, bring a ball with you, and I'll show you how to blend ball time and training. So then you get both, right? So like applied training is the most important, most effective, right? Doing the heel, doing the recall at the park, using the downs when you're at the restaurant. That's all what makes the training more reliable. But then to keep everything fresh, like let's say, you know, winter's coming fairly soon, you're not going to be at a restaurant with him outside in the downs, it's too cold, is you can take ball time and blend training so you're still keeping things up so that he doesn't like lose it. But the downs look good. They look very smooth. He definitely got the concepts, all that looks good. Any questions about that? And then he was on his own time, right? He wasn't the commander right now?
Yeah, he's at 9 points.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and pop him on the long leash. And then I think we covered blending heel, recall, and the stays, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How's he taking to the colder weather?
Yeah, fine. So,
He doesn't love cold weather.
Sure. Yeah, well, he's kind of lean, so.
Yeah.
we were looking at jackets for this week, actually.
Sure. It's funny because Canada Goose makes Canada Beach.
Well, we have the pooch.
I didn't see that.
He's got him an Eddie Bauer Christmas sweater though.
It's got a squirrel on it. It's perfect.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's this, I think the website's chilidogs.ca. It's a place in Canada, but they make clothing for below zero temperature.
I think the jackets that we were looking at, I think that was the brand.
Yeah, we got him an XL. It's like we were having a hard time getting it, honestly.
Well, yeah.
Was he too big for it, or
It's just like it would get like we'd have to force it on, and then it wouldn't zip her up.
did you have to measure him?
No, we didn't measure him. I just picked up a few because I was at the store.
Oh, sure. This one you have to order because they're in Canada. But I got some for my pit and my Chihuahua because they're from Texas. They're not.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah. So yeah, I like it because it like wraps and everything. I actually got to get up new ones because they finally ripped it after like 5 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Lasted a while.
Yeah. Those I think they were like a couple $100 for it. But it lasted really well. So what we're gonna do here is a quick little review of that recall, the heel to stay, or however you're using it, and then we're gonna start to add in more stuff. Okay.
So I take the long leash right now.
So
Yeah,
we're
you
gonna
can take off the
recall
short
first?
leash.
Oh, we're gonna do-
You can take the short leash off, and what you can do now is if you need to hold it, you can just hold the long one and then let go when he does the recall.
Gilmore.
Yeah, your foot's not
Careful. Okay.
Doing it safe.
Go ahead and leave it slack and just grab the end of the handle and put it around your right thumb. And then when you walk, you're gonna walk over it so all of the leash is behind you. There you go. Yeah, go back to the side. Good. Pop in another heel. Heel. They gotta keep eyes on mom. Yeah.
It's still stayed though.
So, yeah.
That's good. That's a well-trained dog.
That was a trick question.
Can you break?
Right.
Heel?
Oh, you got it. So you said heel, right? So turn.
Yeah.
Tap. Tap. So I was going to distract them for you because you said break, but you said heel, so you have to then reinforce that. So here, tap. Then you didn't down them, right? Tap. 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 Subtle pressure up. Yeah. Yeah. Real subtle. Yeah. There you go. Never relax. So what we're gonna do here, because now that we taught the down, if we start to see that happen prematurely, is we have to clarify for him, like, not to assume the down. Is I'll try to taps first to see if he'll pop back up into position, and then very subtle leash pressure if needed. And what you'll end up finding is if he ends up prematurely downing, you'll just give a tap and he'll pop up with no need for leash pressure. Okay? So go ahead and release him. I'll distract him for you so you can do a recall.
Oh, great. Gilmore, come.
Good. Yep. Right. Now put him to stay on this one.
For this situation, should I actually like?
You can actually use, so you use the hand that's closest to him.
Yeah.
So here, you're fine where you're at. So you do the stay like this, and then you step out with your right leg, because that's the way leg.
Stay.
There you go. And then land on this side of Gilmore, on his left side, and you're going to be facing this way.
Facing this way?
Yeah. And go into heel and forward.
Gilmore, heel.
Yep. And forward, that's right. Tap, 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 tap. So the way I taught you guys, turn, tap, tap, right turn. Yep, tap, tap. There you go. Good. And then tap, 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 tap. So the way I taught you guys was very black and white, right? Like positioning and stuff like that. Realistically speaking, it's not always going to end up that way, right? So then, like let's say Gilmore was to be on my right side on a recall, and I did a stay. I'd actually use my right hand because that's the closest one, but I would step away with my left leg.
Sure.
Because it's the away leg.
Yep.
Okay. And then the other thing is doing the heels now. You know, before it was always Gilmore right shoulder, left leg when starting. So that's always your alignment. But to actually go into it, he just needs to be on your left. Okay. So like here, you were facing the opposite way on his left, right? And you said heel, and he's not ever seen that before. So as long as you see him tap, like he whip around as he did and come in. So you can do it like from behind, that, and then go heel, go in. So it's really, as long as it's on your left side, it doesn't matter where he's facing. So if you do a recall and he lands on the wrong side, you can always put it in and line up. Okay? So there is like little, it's not always so concise.
Yep.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Cool. Oh, so you're talking, so what you're thinking is, so for me, so we have come, which is just get over here.
Yep.
I don't care where. Okay. Now, if you're wanting recall to the heel position, that's finish. Okay. You want to learn that?
Not per se.
Oh, sure. So that's just practice, right? Because that was the first time we ever did that, right? So let's do this. You're going to give your slack, you'll be working with a long leash, and we're going to break. We're going to do another recall. I'm going to have you do another side step and see where he lands, go into that stay, and then when you come back to him, you're not going to go in heel position, like the formal heel position. You're just going to put him on your left side, but be facing a different direction. Cue the heel, and the moment you say heel and start moving, if you don't see an immediate responds to I need to do something, you start promoting. Correct. Okay.
Oh, great. Gilmore, come.
Good. Good. So that's here. So he's on your right, right? Yeah. Go to his face. That's to be right hand. Step left leg. There you go. Good. And here, whip around. Come around so you'll be on his facing that way. There you go. And then cue the heel. Tap. There he goes. Good. Tap forward, tap forward. Good. Now here, he's on your right, pivot inwards. Like this. So go back to your side, like this.
So, like
The other way.
over him?
So you were...
So you want me to do like a step over?
Oh, no. So what you're doing here, it's okay. Tap for the sit, like that. There you go. So you're just going like this. So if you see that happen, because once you get to long leash stuff, you're not, how we normally addressed it, it's not going to work too well. So if he lands on your right side, what I do is I just pivot inwards and start remoting to help him come in faster.
Now that like on my left face is like I'm just
Correct. Now if you were already in the heel and he landed wrong, you would, as you're moving, just pivot inward and tap without the heel. You only say heel when you go from stationary to motion, right? Now here you came to a stop. So now you would have to cue the heel to trigger it again. But if you kept your movement, you would simply pivot in so that he was on your left, start remoting, and go the opposite way. Okay? Go ahead.
Come on, heel.
There you go. Good. Keep forward, keep forward. Tap. He stepped on the leash. Now pivot inwards. There you go. Forward. Tap.
Heel.
Tap. I would have kept the motion. There you go. Good. Sure.
Great.
goes the wrong, like you saw, he keep going to the right side a couple of times. Stay. If he goes on the right side, sometimes he goes on the right side and they shoot off. And he'll be like 20, 30 feet that way. Okay? So typically you keep moving, but what I do here, if he goes that way, is I turn inwards. You feel him? Okay. And if I turn inwards, right away he sees my left side, and it helps him fix that positioning from 30 feet away. Okay? Because it's much different fixing a heel position from 6 feet to 30 feet.
Right. Oh, right here.
Yeah. Biggest time for a photo, right?
Well, he's from Kentucky.
Yeah.
It was hot.
He's like me. That both of us.
Yeah, so don't do this. Doesn't care at all. It's less interesting than other dogs.
We're doing heel.
I just want to go.
Heel.
It's all though.
That's the thing.
That's what dogs do. Before with dogs. And obviously all the stores.
How does
Christmas birthday.
Now turn to your right. Tap, tap, tap. Keep forward, tap, tap. There you go. Good. If that was a pass, I had her do the pivot. But if he gets going on the wrong side when we're doing long leash, I'll turn it. So now he's on your right side, right?
Yeah.
So now, as you're walking forward, you're just going to pivot inwards like this and start tapping as you go the opposite way.
So.
Turn towards it. Turn towards it.
Just like this.
Yeah, turn around.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me.
You're heading the right direction. It's good.
Yeah.
Is that right?
You ended up going into the heel, like you stepped over, and you just turned.
We're supposed to go. Okay. So we were like
Put them on your right. Right there. Just like this, right?
Yep.
So if you pass it, you clearly go. Yep. So you go in, but you're not crossing. Like that. Now he's back on your left.
Okay.
Okay? Because what happens is once he goes all the way over there, it's much easier to just turn inwards like this, because you're still keeping that leash in your right hand. Okay, so you don't get tangled up. And I just keep tapping until he comes in here. If he lands on the right side like this, you're not trying to cross him, because it's going to come on your right, you're just pivoting inside. And this way he puts him back on your left, but he's now going the opposite way. Okay? Yeah. There you go. Good. See how he's on your right again? So now turn inwards. There you go. Tap, 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 tap. That was correct. Good. 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 Give us a.
Oh.
Okay. So here, go ahead and turn toward me. Pivot. Tap, 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 tap. So we straighten him out. Right? Good. Now tap, 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 tap. Then pressure at the tapping. Tap. So here, go ahead and grab this front leash. And you're gonna lightly pull back to your left. Tap, 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 tap. A little bit more leash pressure. There we go. And you relax right. So I'm accepting that that. But you see how he backed up into the position? I would, as he does this, if you do this more, he should back up completely. Or he could even turn in and reposition. It doesn't have, I don't care how it looks, but that so he stopped this kind of overshooting. Okay. Now, have you worked him on the long line with heel this week? No? Okay. When you practice with him, keep an eye on this. Okay. Now there's two reasons why this is happening. One, it could be because of both of you are here, because he keeps inching towards the other person, right? Here he went straight towards Matt. Then early he went straight towards her when you're working with him. So if you work solo, keep an eye on him. If you're like, oh, he lines up really nice whenever we're working solo, then it's because of that, right? So then I correct that just whenever you're working together. Or if he's doing it and some days he isn't, pay attention to the weather. Okay? Because so like my pit, Lex, hates the cold. And if I were to heal her in this is fine, but if it gets colder, you'll see where she's just kind of like doing this because she wants to just get back home, right? So, but she knows she's supposed to walk on the leg, and you'll literally see the confidence of the dogs going back and forth because they're too cold. Okay. If you feel like it's because he's cold, I still reinforce to a degree, but it's not going to happen. The cold's too much, and he's just like, look, I just want to get this done, right? So do be mindful of that, because it's something that I do see on the regular, like these like shorter hair breeds, because they're not built for this kind of work. Okay? Yeah. 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 And then when you do this, you want to make sure you anchor yourself and you keep in your position. There you go. And it tap. There you go. Now, choke higher up on the leash by the closer to his collar. There you go. That gives you the most leverage. And it's very, yep. Let him do all the work. There you go. Now, a little bit back. Yep. 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 Almost. Yep. There you go. Better. Okay. So, if you ever feel like you're having to compensate a lot of physical force, you're too low. As soon as you hit 80, you started moving a lot. And you have to do very little, right? So if you ever feel like, yeah, it's a workout, bump that number up, and then you're wanting the remote to do all the work for you. And the leash is just there as a guide, because ultimately when he's fully off leash, the only thing you're going to have is the remote to communicate with. Okay, so you're also conditioning yourself to use that. Okay, questions? If you're doing the duration down at a distance, you're keeping it down, you're stepping away, you can walk around. And what we're doing here is before we had heel, come, and stay, and the side steps, right? That was like a package. now we're adding in the down. Okay. Now, the more stuff you add in, the more mistakes he's going to start making because now he has more options. So, like this week, if you start practicing this, and the next time I see you, I would expect he's going to start downing a little, kind of like early, right? Because it's the most recent thing that he learned. It's part of the process, which is why it's very important that if he's in a heel and heel auto downs, you don't say sit, you just tap. And I always resort to taps first, subtle leash pressure, then pop back up again, and then keep repeating until eventually he just sits and holds it without any kind of verbal direction. And eventually he'll learn, like, okay, I don't assume the down when I'm in the heel. Okay, because that set the down motion is what's essentially trained in this point. Okay. Questions on that? So go ahead and walk around.
Go around again or just come inside?
Go ahead and come around. And we go over the formal sits. Leash collar. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that after a couple of these. We'll start doing the sits. So your knee command operates real quick.
Okay, so we can just do the heel down.
Oh, sure. So break is technically command. So he's on your right. So up there he goes. He's right. Good. Go forward. Get it. Yeah. So technically, break is a command. Tap, tap, tap. Turn inwards. There you go. Good.
I've never seen like lag kind like this.
Keep forward.
Probably not. That's like
Sure. But then also you're out here and you're out here for a while. Yeah. Now turn inwards. Tap. There you go. Good. Good fix. Keep forward. Tap. So if he stops for anything, you always keep your motion. Okay. Keep your motion. You start putting that pressure on. Because you're trying to force all this tap, tap forward, tap forward. You're trying to force these mistakes that he learns. Always return to that left leg. Because once he goes, if he's fully off leash and you stop, it's gonna confuse the hell out of him. Good. And slow to stop. There you go.
it's like right on her foot, but like basically.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and give him a stay. Back to the side. Very good. And go ahead and cue it down.
Down.
Good. And let's go ahead and pop the short leash on him as well. And we'll keep him in that down. We'll leash him up while he's in the down. Tap. 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 Tap.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So stay still. Because if you keep moving, it's going to confuse him. Tap. 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 Use some leash. I think again. Tap. Right there. Okay. So you had him in the down. You go to leash him up. You stand up, and he's like, "Where are we going?" Right. So little things like that, all expected. So I switching handlers, putting on the leash, switching leashes, things like that are all things I like to take advantage of to provoke the confusion or the mistake so that we can correct it. Okay? So what we're gonna do here is start the formal sits or e-collar sits, and we've actually already been doing them, we just haven't put a word to it. So since Matt's got the short leash, we're going to swap leash here.
Should I take the long leash off and keep it on?
You can take it off. Okay, he's still down. So earlier when we were doing that correction to a sit,
Yeah.
very subtle pressure. So you're going to cue the word sit first, and very subtle pressure up on the leash and the tap to pop him up. Okay? So go ahead and shorten just a little bit.
It's upwards pressure though, right?
Correct.
It's not downwards like for down.
Correct. It's going to be up and then very subtle.
So should I break him and then?
You can, so he's in a down, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and cue sit.
Gilmore, sit.
Now tap. And very and less pressure than that. Very little, very little. There you go. Okay. So here, what we're doing is the different. So downwards would mean down, upwards would mean go into sitting position.
Okay.
So we're just conditioning him that now sit, which you probably knew before, right? With like treats and stuff.
Yeah.
Which we're just layering in the collar and saying like sit also has pressure behind it. Okay. Going to cue the down.
Gilmore down.
Tap. 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 There he goes. And praise. Attaboy.
Good boy. Gilmore, sit.
Tap. And relax. Right. Good. What are you looking at?
Imaginary squirrels. There's nothing over there.
Down.
Gilmore down.
Those squiggles.
Gilmore sit.
Tap. Tap. And relax. Good. Now here, he's gonna sit, right? Go ahead and walk around him. You don't need to say anything. He should not move.
Should I still do like the right foot? Or?
Yep, so it'll still be the right leg, but you just don't need to say anything. There you go. Now up, tap, tap, and then lead back, general area, tap, tap, very subtle pressure. Okay, and then step away. Right, good, and then walk up, tap. That's good, that's fine. And then walk around. Good. Now back to the side. Go ahead and cue the down.
Gilmore down.
Good, and then you're gonna walk around again. Good. And now here, go ahead and pop them in the heel, and you'll just walk around a little bit and then come back to a stop.
Gilmore heel. He's not really.
Yeah, so stay where you are, light pressure and tap to bring them back. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's fine.
That down or what?
Correct.
Gilmore down.
Good. Wait a moment.
Gilmore sit.
Right. That's fine with the
Slower,
top.
I should have slept like under pressure.
Yeah.
Gilmore down.
Good. So go ahead and walk around. Good. You'll land at the side when you're ready. Good. Sit.
Gilmore sit.
Tap. There you go. Walk around again. It's like a squatting sit.
You guys have put more effort than you do into everything.
Good. Go ahead and pop him in the heel.
Gilmore heel.
Cold.
Slow down to stop. Go ahead and correct that position a little bit. Tap. 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 Yep. Tap. There you go. That's fine. Good. That's fine. Now here, do a stay.
Gilmore stay.
Okay. Good. Back to the side. Good. You're gonna wait a moment, then you're gonna cue the down. Tap. I bet you it's because he hurt me.
No, I think you did. You
Yeah.
heard you right away.
Tap. Tap. Relax. Good.
Gilmore down.
Good. Wait a moment. How's the other one? So here, do you see the difference in how those work? Right, so if you're in the heel, you come to a stop, it's an auto sit, stay, or down, if you need them to not move. And then when you came back, sometimes it was a down, sometimes it was a sit, and we're putting gap between the commands so that we don't create a rhythm. Okay, because if you every 2 seconds sit down, he's gonna pick up that pattern and he's gonna go with that rhythm. So that's why I like to put time in between and then change up, and that's why I was like, let's go into a stay this time as opposed to a down, so you don't create that pattern, because he will pick up on it. Okay. Yeah. So here, the down to sit and the sit to down is, they call them puppy push-ups, but I do them to help teach the dog, help to clarify each individual command. But it's going to create the problem when you stop in the heel, he might try to lay down. So you would do that light pressure and tap, but you just want to cue the sit. Okay, because you're teaching him, like, you're reinforcing the auto sit. He's not supposed to do that anyways. Okay, let's go ahead and keep him in that position and swap handlers.
Pressure's on.
Down.
Down.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep where you are. Yeah. Yeah. Wait a moment. There it is. Good. And then walk around. This one is when you walk around, land on the other side. Okay. Gilmore. Yeah, on that side, and cue the down from there.
Down.
Yep. Wait a moment. Yeah, keep anchored. Yep. 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 Swing the leash around so that it's on the other side, so we can get some leash pressure. Yeah. Yeah. There. Now here, you may have gotten confused because you're on his opposing side because he went to the heel side, right? When you practice this at home, you can do this inside in the house. See if he does better inside. Because the other thing is colder out here, right? So even laying down on that surface can cause apprehension. Okay. So like, those little short-haired chihuahuas, a lot of times won't lay down on vinyl, things like that, because it's cold. But the owners will say, like, he won't down on the hardwood, but he'll down on the carpet. I'm like, yeah, because the hardwood's cold.
Yeah.
Okay, so just keep that in mind. It's not always disobedience, technically, right? It's just like, this is kind of uncomfortable, I don't want to do this, it's too cold, okay? So just be mindful of that. The reason why I had you down him on the other side was to start breaking away from a pattern. What's the pattern?
It's just the sit down.
And what else?
And then always on the heel side. Always
on the heel side, right? So if he's getting things really well here, I try to change it up, I land on the other side. So Gilmore, I'm at different positions to him, so he doesn't get fixated on sitting down is always here, because they will create that problem. So you'll tell him to lay down, and he'll come and walk over and down right at your side, okay? So when you work with him, if you feel like he's getting that first chunk really well, then start moving to the next part of, now I'm going to down or sit you from different perspectives too. Okay, so he learns the cue and not the positioning. Okay, questions? We'll just do a couple more and then we'll cap it there for Gilmore.
Sit.
Good.
It's like a wall sit. It's like covered.
Good.
Down.
Good.
Sit.
Yep. Okay. Tap. Better. Tap. There you go. That's fine.
Okay, pull him back.
This is okay.
Okay.
I'm letting that go for now. Go ahead and pop in the heel, circle around.
Wait. Oh yeah. Wait, this one?
He's on your left, so anyway.
Okay.
Yep. So,
Heel?
yep. Yeah. There you go. Good. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. We'll ignore that for now, just for time's sake. Okay.
Down.
Good. Yeah. Boy.
Sit.
Yep. 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 A little pressure. There you go. Good. Better.
Down.
Yep. Wait a moment. Yep. 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 A little bit of leash pressure. Yep. Good. We'll tap it there for you. Pretty sure he's cold.
Okay.
Okay. So this week, if you can, long leash heel, because he kept favoring that right side for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So giving him the full slack to allow him to make that mistake. And then if he stops or anything, remember, keep your momentum, tap, make him fix the position. Even if he's 30 feet away, that's why we had that long leash so we can, he's not going to get anywhere, okay? And then the sitting down stuff, 2 to 3 minutes a day,
Okay.
super short a piece. Once you feel like he's like mastered it, or it's like very simple for him to pop between the commands, you can leave it alone. And then the sends on the place, 2 to 3 minutes, until you feel like that's easy or consistent, and then I would worry more so on the duration aspect of it.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you think we should be practicing some of the stuff inside where we can't? If it's gonna be chilly like
Yes.
this?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the
This
sit
stuff
down.
like this, the place, the sit down stuff, whatever.
Okay.
You can even technically do recalls in the home, right? Like it's not outside, but it's something.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you it's cold.
Yeah,
For sure.
okay.
Next time, it's up to you guys. If he does well with his coat and everything, I'm more than happy to train out here. But at some point it gets too cold for certain dogs. There's
Yeah.
always a facility as well. If outside it's too cold for him, okay?
Okay, that sounds great.
Awesome, guys. Thank
Thank you.
Okay.
Gilmore, break.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right.